Wonderful, thank you. So I just want to say thanks for hosting this event at County Hall. For me, this is really interesting because I had my first job in County Hall in the 80s, working for GLC and Ilia. I worked in the mechanical and electrical department. I did my first course in computing at Hoskins, a company back in the day, and it was on networking and communication. So token ring, Ethernet, all that stuff. Since then, I've worked for Pitney Bowes, where I did business continuity and disaster recovery and managed IT systems. Worked for Veritas and Symantec for 10 years. Did my master's in 2004. Actually, no, sorry, 2004, yeah. And I'm now working for Kaseya, Unitrends, and the world has changed, really, since the 80s. So what I'm going to be talking about, really, is, in short, an introduction to Unitrends and spanning. And we're a Kaseya company, so I did actually see on the previous slide that we were mentioned as being attacked, which we were, but we dealt with it very well. We're going to be talking about backup challenges associated with ransomware, an overview of some strategies, common misunderstandings, and some things around protection and our single pane of glass in terms of how we bring endpoint protection, disaster recovery together, SaaS-based protection in one platform. So as a company, Spanning, we've been around since 2010, originally owned by EMC, actually, but we purchased them. And we're protecting Office 365, Google, and Salesforce with the Spanning product. And for Unitrends, we've been around since 1989. And it's a on-premise based solution based on appliances. We were one of the first in the industry to have a all-in-one purpose-built appliance, which is Linux-based for protecting on-premise workloads. We've got a great compatibility guide as well, so we protect Unix, Solaris, HPX, some old legacy operating systems, as well as the modern operating systems that you'd expect. Now, there's going to be a lot of talk around ransomware, ultimately. And the first thing we have to acknowledge is that, again, staff are under attack, employees are under attack, phishing attacks are kind of key. The previous speaker spoke about this as, the vector of entry, the payload, 65% of phishing attacks are delivered via email. Ransomware avoids detection, which is kind of key as well, because when you back up your data, if you've got ransomware basically on the host systems that you're protecting, if you need to restore, which backup is your last line of defense, so if you get hit and you need to recover, you need to restore your data, you could find yourself in a attack loop, restoring data, which has ransomware in, and you're continually trying to recover. So there's a real importance on visibility of your data protection and your recovery points. Backups are under attack. So we all know Windows-based operating systems are the low-hanging fruit. And ultimately, most of the backup products out there are based on Windows-based operating systems. So if you can actually find a Linux-based or Unix-based backup solution to protect your workloads, you're giving yourself that little extra air gap from basically the ubiquitous Windows-based operating systems out there. Backups are fragmented. So we know, again, that lots of companies purchase multiple products. They go through an evolution of buying one product, then they find they need to buy another product because that product doesn't actually protect a key application that they have. And they end up owning multiple products. The other side of the coin is they have one solution, but they're using that solution with third parties. So they may be buying storage from a third-party vendor, a host, they're managing an operating system, and that gives that individual who's managing, or that company, essentially more to manage, more licensing, more operational overhead. So essentially, your backups are fragmented. As a result, backups become time-consuming. So you're having to manage the actual, the operating system, the backup application, the storage, all the infrastructure associated with that. So that's an overhead. And as a result, it becomes more expensive. Fairly straightforward. So what we're going to talk about is our solution that relates to backup and disaster recovery of on-premise workloads, Office 365 as an example, endpoint protection. So these are the products that we offer, essentially. We offer recovery series appliances that scale from 2 terabytes to 120 terabytes, so it's fit for most companies, and they scale out as well, so you can actually build them together to scale out to protect larger workloads. We offer a virtual appliance, and we have a direct-to-cloud solution that is going to protect endpoints and servers and send data directly to the cloud, which, again, for some companies that's really key, having a cloud-first strategy of protecting on-premise data directly to the cloud, especially for endpoints. And obviously, we've been through the COVID, and we had a lot of work from home individuals that needed data to be protected. We have our own cloud as a company as well. So when you purchase our solution, we're giving you an end-to-end experience. So you can back up your data locally on premise, send data to a cloud for long-term retention off-site, plus we have our own disaster recovery service as well that enables our customers to actually evoke disaster recovery, and we're going to provide a white glove service that takes the pain out of the recovery process for our customers and hand over that service back to our customers when they hit a disaster. And when it comes to the SaaS platforms, you can see we protect 365, Google Workspace, and Salesforce. Google Workspace and 365 and the on-premise solutions plus the endpoint protection is managed through a single pane of glass, right? So one console to manage all these different products. Salesforce will be coming and is going to be part of that single pane of glass, but it's not there yet. We pride ourselves as well in a feature called Recovery Assurance, which allows you to test your backups. So this is part of the challenge. Customers back up their data, and they need to actually test for ransomware or test the application, test the service, and recover that service in an automated fashion so they know their recovery points are good. We can do that very gracefully and brilliantly. We have a feature called Helix as well, which allows our customers to essentially take away that operational overhead of having to manage the backup server. So when it comes to patching and updating the solution, Helix takes care of that. So you don't have to kind of download patches, install the patch at the Windows operating system level, install the patch at the backup application level. That's taken care of with our solution. And we have something called Backup IQ in the single pane of glass. That's going to give you all the alerting you need in relation to all those products that we have in our portfolio. So starting with spanning, as I said before, spanning is that product that we offer that provides Google Workspace and Salesforce protection, but it's a cloud-to-cloud based service. We have our own cloud in AWS in different regions around the world. It's a cloud-to-cloud based backup solution, encryption, AES-256 encryption at rest and in flight, simple licensing model as well. So when you look at our products, it's easy to consume. There's no complexity, there's no core licensing, it's just for Salesforce or Google, it's just basically a subscription, and it's going to be on a per user basis. We provide unlimited storage and unlimited retention as standard with our solution as well, which makes it easy to consume. And these are kind of the key things you should be thinking about as well. When it comes to SaaS-based platforms, I think everybody here is very familiar with the old way of building your own solution. You were responsible for the hardware, the software, the natural disaster, power outage, and etc. Well, that's, in a SaaS-based model, Microsoft are responsible for that. Yeah? Salesforce is responsible for that. You're responsible for the human mistakes, any management of the platform. It's a SaaS platform that you're dealing with. Now, we don't basically require any service accounts with our solutions. So we're using all the standard APIs that you would expect, and as a result, you can use 2FA with us as well, and we're secure. So that's kind of key. I'm skipping over this very quickly because I've got 5 minutes, and John has given me a red card before. So, how this solution works. So it's cloud-to-cloud based protection, but the key thing I think you'll be interested in is that with our SaaS-based platform, we offer dark web monitoring as well as phishing defense within our solution. So the dark web monitoring is interesting because our solution is actually integrating a product that we have within our portfolio called ID Agent, and it's there to basically go and discover compromised credentials associated with your tenant and we're going to present that to you such that you know where that compromised credential resides. And two, we'll show you the first 5 characters of the password so you can actually talk to the individuals who've had a compromised credential so you can actually stop that account takeover scenario. So we're integrating products within our portfolio, across Kaseya's portfolio, to make, or to create value, but also to differentiate ourselves, which is really important. We've got phishing defense. Our previous speaker spoke about phishing and the value of having some defense against phishing. That is also integrated into our solution as well. So when you think about our SaaS-based platforms, you're going to get dark web monitoring as well as phishing defense as an option when you purchase our solution. From the Unitrends side, we offer a number of different appliances. As I said before, we have a Mac series, we have the Ion series, which is designed for a small office where there's not a comms room, they're low decibel, but we provide a number of different appliances that you can consume. So our model is that rack, stack, and go model. Easy to consume. You don't have to build your own backup solution. You just rack it, connect it, everything's there, and it's you're quickly able to start protecting your data. Now, our model is, for one, we want to support our customers in that 3-2-1 rule, which is create 3 copies of your data, 2 on different media, 1 copy off-site, which is kind of key. So our solution does that very simply. You want a secure Linux-based platform as a backup solution. That's kind of key as well. You don't want to be using a Windows-based solution. We also want you to kind of consider recovery testing with your solution that you choose, or if you have a solution already, are you able to test your backups and recover your backups in an automated fashion so you know whether the application works or not. And AI, you're going to hear AI-based kind of technology speak throughout the day. We have AI-based in our appliances that's going to identify ransomware automatically. So we'll show you the asset that we consider to be potentially compromised by ransomware. We'll provide a KB. We'll give you direction in terms of addressing that particular issue. And obviously, we're going to provide that recovery process for you as well, because backup is the last line of defense, ultimately. Quickly stating, we have our own cloud. And on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see it's the Unitrends appliance and our cloud. If you used to build this solution yourself, you'd have to have a backup server, a hypervisor, maybe a virtual machine, some backup software, infrastructure as a service, et cetera, and build out a disaster recovery platform yourself. So we're collapsing all of that infrastructure that you'd normally have to build yourself in a science project into 2 entities, an appliance and our cloud. This is the same technology. What we like to say as well, we provide one throat to choke. So you're not having to deal with different vendors, ultimately. I think anything goes wrong, you speak to us. No third parties. We have global deduplication as well, so we store the data really efficiently. And we have a great operating system compatibility guide as well. This is a slide on our recovery assurance, and you can see it's an automated process. So we are able to create runbooks that essentially mimic how you would recover or boot a service, and we can test that at the application level as well, and we can provide you with compliance reports as well to show you whether you're meeting your RPOs and RTOs. Very powerful. When we demonstrate this, customers say, well, I need it, right? So we're happy to show you this technology. Great case study as well, and this case study talks to a chemical company in the US that was hit by ransomware, which allowed, this company had purchased our solution, they were rolling it out. However, they hadn't actually purchased it for all locations. And for the locations they purchased our technology for, they were able to recover using our technology in a structured and orchestrated way. We have a feature called Instant Lab, where we can leverage the recovery assurance. We can stage the recovery. In this instance, the customer used Carbon Black because that was the technology that their cyber insurance company was recommending for them to use to test the actual backups before they pushed them into production. So they used Carbon Black, made sure the backups were clean, and then they pushed the workloads into production in an automated way. So very powerful, but this just talks to a process that we offer with our technology, that streamlines the recovery process. Now, we have our own cloud as well, which I stated before, where we can actually offer disaster recovery as a service as well. So once you consume our appliance, you can replicate your data to our cloud, and it's a white glove service. We provide failback as well. We'll give you your data back on an appliance if you need to rebuild your data center. But it is a service, and you design a run book with us as well to recover your data in our cloud for disaster recovery. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop there, and I think I've made...
Super. You've
yeah.
reached your 15-minute point.
Perfect.
Super, Wayne.
Yep.
Thank you very much indeed. Great presentation.
Wonderful.